Another live stream. Love sharing ideas over these live streams. Now, here's my big situation, opportunity, or challenge and resolution. So the situation is you want to scale. You want to be able to bring on a virtual assistant, sales support, marketing support, somebody to help you with customer support. But the problem is you feel you don't have the time, you don't have the energy, and you've had some false starts in the past. Most of these false starts are situated in the first 2 weeks, and that is predicated to what's called the Standard Operating Procedure Playbook. I'm going to tell you a quick story. So that's kind of like the situation, but I'll tell it into a story, and here's the challenge. 20 years ago, I started in commercial real estate. It was my very first real sales job, 100% commission. And I sat in a giant bullpen. It was half of a building's floor plate. And it was just rows and rows of brokers, 100% commission. I needed to dial for dollars, booking meetings with CEOs, CFOs all day long. I learned by two things. One, I'd kind of peek my ears up, listen around the cubicle. But then I would notice a senior broker would walk up to the water coolers. And I actually would do this all the time. I would just drop what I was doing, pretending I needed a glass of water. I would then just fill up at the water cooler, ask a question. Hey, how many calls do you make a day? Or what's your opening line to talk to a CFO? And I just chipped away at the problem. The problem, though, for you is the vast majority of your team is virtual. And especially if you're hiring offshore resources, they're 100% virtual. So you're expecting them to learn through osmosis of some sort. All that nascent knowledge that somebody who's already doing this job, or it's a job you wish somebody would do because it's a $5 an hour task sucking the life out of you, it's preventing you from moving from founder-led sales to sales-led sales, or you're watching your sellers, your marketers, your customer success team just bogged down in garbage work, list building and CRM updates and note-taking. Well, there's a way around this, and you have to recognize that nobody's going to learn through osmosis. So how do you actually create the process of the SOP? Number one, your North American teammates don't want to do this. They don't actually want to do yet another $5 an hour task, which is the documentation of their role and responsibility. Imagine taking screenshots and videos and diagrams of everything they do and how they complete task A, B, C, and D. So here's what you do. The first 2 weeks of a teammate joining, I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to share my screen. And what you end up doing, and if you want, there's an SOP template. You can just see it on my computer right here. There is an SOP template that sits at getleverage.com/free resources. This is an example of one for account management. Okay, it's got every subject you can think of. Now, how did all this information get in here? Or what about virtual assistants, standard operating procedures to be able to do email and calendar management? How does it get here? Step number one, you hire your virtual assistant. Step number two, they are responsible. Task number one is called measure twice, cut once. It's how you build a suit. Essentially what you're doing is you're asking the teammates to say, here's what we're going to do. Task number one is you're going to shadow exactly what we do, or you're going to suck the intellectual property out of my head. So you're going to record a call just like this. We're going to take the speech to text. We're going to take the screen shares. We're going to take the diagrams, everything that we do, and you're going to build it into a document using a template. So in a template, you have a chapter, which is like a major part of the milestone of a project. So how to build a water bottle. Step number one is, as an example, design the spherical template there, and then everything is about learning in threes. So what are the sub steps 1, 2, and 3 to complete those tasks? Next chapter, next chapter, next chapter. So you go through and you document the chronological process between mindset, skill set, toolkit needed to be able to do the task. The next step that happens, the virtual assistant, the sales support, marketing support, document this standard operating procedure playbook on behalf of you. They do it for you. You're not doing this. They're doing this. Next step, you take the template, you ask them to practice based on the template they created, practice it in market and complete what they've just done. So you actually create a mock scenario where they create the template, the guide, whatever they need to do. Next step, they actually then teach back the process. So before they go live, this all happens in the first 2 weeks. They need to teach it back in a video case study. They need to show you how to do it, walk through it on their computer. And now what they've done is people learn by documenting it and teaching it back. So they document the process. They learn the process by writing it all down. They then practice trying it. They then teach it back as if you're the student, they're the teacher. In 2 weeks, they're ready to do that task. Do you need them to build a list of accounts and contacts? Do you need to enrich that data? Do you need to update your CRM? Do you need to do pre and post meeting documents? Do you need them to cleanse your emails and calendars? Do you need them X, Y, Z? Building videos. There's a template for all this. You want to have a graphic design? There's a template for that too, and a process. This is the first 2 weeks. And by doing this, they understand the task. They've practiced the task. They know how to teach it back to you. And now they can repeat the task over and over again. These are the steps to go from 0 to hero, speed to productivity in under 2 weeks. So I hope you found this valuable, and looking forward to continuing more wisdom on what usually is trying to get to a daily form of sharing these ideas. But I hope you enjoyed. Thanks a lot.